Hello and welcome to another of the videos for the TradingView indicators from Quantum Trading. And I'm delighted to be able to announce that we've literally hot off the press is the Quantum Renko indicator. And before I forget, as always, TradingView is a wonderful application. It's browser-based, so it means you are pretty much independent of device. So you can run it on Windows, but I'm recording on Mac here, and of course you can run the indicators on an iOS device as well. So it's just a great all-round package, very powerful, and of course you can also hook it through to brokers as well and trade off the charts. Okay, let's start with Renko. If you're not familiar with Renko, Renko is a way of charting whereby the actual chart is built independent of time. And that's where it differs hugely from the traditional time-based chart above here, which, as I say, is a 1 minute time frame on the Nasdaq E-mini future. We're all familiar with time-based charts. But what happens when you move to a non-time-based chart such as Renko is the bricks are built according to the metric that is set for the actual brick size. Now, I'll walk you through how the Renko works because you have two options. You can either set that size yourself. So you can say, well, I'm going to have, let's say, 5 points or 3 points for the Nasdaq. Or alternatively, there is an ATR function inbuilt which delivers it automatically. So it will deliver to you the optimal brick size for that particular instrument in that particular part of the trading session. But to go back to the issue of time, when you're looking at a Renko chart in this way, where we have the Renko chart below and we have the time-based chart above, it's actually quite confusing because what you are trying to do mentally is to really tie up this price action that you're seeing here, this beautiful smooth price action that you get on a Renko, these wonderful trends. Very smooth. You don't get any of the choppy price action that you see in here. It's very smooth. That's why bricks are so very clean in the way they're constructed in these up and down trends. But it's very hard to actually tie this price action back to the time-based chart if you have it above. And the point I'm making is this. If you look at the high here over in, where was this? This was, we're just, we're 18, where are we? 7:15 here. It's actually running an hour late, but that's fine. It's not relevant to the point I'm making. But if you look back over here to this high of round about just below 13,650, and you try and eyeball that up here, clearly it's not anywhere here, and actually it's way back over here somewhere, because if you look at the top here, this is 640, so it's actually off the screen somewhere. So in terms of the time that that particular piece of price action occurred, it's over here somewhere. In other words, what, a couple of hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours ago. So when you look at this particular peak here, and indeed any of this price action, and try to tie it back to the time-based equivalent, you can't, because that's the big difference in terms of the Renko. A Renko chart in that context is independent of the time, because the governing metric is the brick size, and each of these bricks may build in a different time. It may take a longer time or a shorter period for each of these bricks to actually build, and before it moves on to the next one. On a 1 minute time frame chart, each of these bricks has taken precisely 1 minute to build. On a Renko chart, this is not the case, because the Renko is constructing the brick according to the pip size, or the index point value size, or the dollars per ounce, or whatever it may be, dollars per barrel. That is the metric that governs it. So that's why we say it's independent of time, and hence it's very difficult to tie this particular price action back to where it occurred, which is way over here. Now, of course, what you normally do in terms of looking at a Renko chart is to slide that out of the way, and then you're looking at a clean Renko chart, which is just great for trading, because it gives you these very smooth trends, very tradable, and you smoothed out the choppy price action that obviously we're all familiar with on time-based charts. However, What we've actually developed in conjunction with this particular indicator, which in fact is two indicators in one, is to incorporate within the settings. This is the traditional mode we're in at the moment, so we are seeing brick size built according to the specified brick size that we've set, or which has been set by the ATR. But what we've actually developed is something called a time accurate variant of the indicator. Now if I click that, what you will see, and I'll take this off, just click the OK and get that out of the way. OK. Now what we're looking at, as I say, is what we call a time accurate representation of the Renko. But now what you're seeing is the bricks are actually building in the same time period as the price action. So in other words, you are able to align the price action with your time-based chart precisely with the time-based action on your Renko. Now the reason the Renko chart looks different is because these bricks will only move on and upwards when the price action has moved beyond the prescribed metric, in other words, the prescribed brick size for that particular setting. Now what you can see below here, this is actually, I think I've got this set on ATR, just go and double check. I've got an ATR of 1 minute and I've got no fixed box size. So we are running, in other words, we are running on the ATR setting, which is delivering this for me automatically. So I haven't prescribed this setting, it's being delivered for me automatically. And what it's telling me down here is that each of these boxes is set to 4.49. We'll forget about the other decimal places, but essentially 4.5 index points because we are on an E-mini future here. Now as you can see, as the price action exceeds that particular metric of 4.49, a brick is built. But when we're in congestion here, as we were here, and we didn't move outside that particular metric, if you will, of 4.49, in other words, to advance the price action either higher or lower, then what we get is a congestion phase like this, which is delivered as the brick. So it is a very, very exciting, and I have to say it's a unique way of presenting price action, because I have never seen anything like this anywhere on the internet in terms of price-based approach using non-time frame charts. And I have to say, absolutely excited to get this from development and really take a closer look at it, because it allows you to match the price action of a Renko precisely with that of a time-based chart. And in addition to that, it also gives you these very clear areas of either support or resistance, the congestion phases that we see on the time-based charts, and then the breakaway in terms of the development of the bricks and on down into a very solid area of congestion here. Then we break higher, more congestion as we're moving up. So it's not an advancement with momentum, in other words, but it is certainly bullish and breaking to the upside with some strength. So it's a very interesting and unusual way of looking at a Renko. And it's available on, as I say, on the standard indicator. So all we do is we just go back into settings and you can toggle between the two. We're on the time. Let's go back to the traditional. Just click on that. There we are. That's how we normally see our bricks. And if we click back onto time accurate, there we are. That's how we see it. Now, of course, you can run these independently. You could have 2 or 3 of these running and have a time accurate version and the standard Renko running side by side. Now the other thing about the indicator, I'm going to do some more videos on this, but the other thing about the indicator also is that you can adjust the time frame. We are on 1 minute here. Now I could change this to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or indeed any time frame I like. So if I change this, in fact, before I do that, just keep an eye on this box size here. As I say, this is currently set to 4.49. This is on the ATR setting. But if I change this to a 2 minute time horizon, look at what the box size does. it actually goes to a much bigger figure. It goes to 13.41. And that is as you would expect, because as you move to slower time frames, then the optimal brick size for slower time frames will always be larger than the faster time frames. And again, you can run this in different time frames. Let's just go back to the traditional Renko. There we go. And the way we use this indeed on this works in a very similar way. If you've seen any of the Ninja Trader videos, you'll see that running Renko in multiple time frames, in other words, with perhaps a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute combination, is a very powerful way, because you are seeing Renko develop through the prism of different time horizons. And as a trend starts in the fastest time frame you set your Renko to, let's say it's on a 1 minute, that if that trend is really gathering strength, then it's going to ripple through into your 2 minute and ultimately into your 3 minute, and so on and so forth downstream. I mean, that is a standard application. It's a standard effect within any form of trading, that the fastest chart on your time window will always represent the first starting point for any reversal or change in trend. And then ultimately, if that trend is going to develop strength, it's going to move through into the slower time frames. So it's a very exciting indicator, very unusual. Let's just pop that up full size. There we are. And let's just go back to into the settings again. And let's just put that back onto the time accurate, and we'll just change that back to 1 minute. There we go. I'll just pull that out of the way. There we go. So it's very unusual. And I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. I'm going to do a couple more on this, just to really show you the concept in more detail, running in multiple time frames, and really how powerful Renko charting can be. So we look forward to some feedback on the on this particular version of the Renko. I have to say, very unusual, very exciting, and I hope you will find it useful in your trading. We will certainly be using it here as well. So thanks very much for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.